A common theme in Transformers stories is the merging of the organic and the technological, flesh and metal working together to achieve feats that neither can do alone. This episode, we're going to explore the history and evolution of this idea in the basics on technorganics. The concept of organic and mechanical hybridization has been part of the Transformers franchise since almost its very beginning. In some of their earliest stories, both the original cartoon and the Marvel comic book featured human beings who had modified their bodies with technology, like the evil scientist Dr. Arkeville, who sported cyborg prosthetics, or the supervillain Circuit Breaker, who used a cybernetic suit to replace the functions of her damaged nervous system. Taking the idea further were the Transorganics, a race of half-animal, half-machine monsters bred by the alien Quintessons. The idea was expanded to encompass the Transformers themselves in 1987, with the introduction of the Headmasters, a new line of toys whose heads disconnected and transformed into partner minifigures. A backstory devised by writer Bob Budiansky explained that these minifigures were human-like aliens from the planet Nebulos, who, through the power of Cybertronian science, had become symbiotically bonded to the Transformers in both body and mind. This bond was most deeply explored in the stories Budiansky wrote for the Marvel comic, which detailed how the Nebulans underwent extreme biomechanical surgery. Joints replaced, bones reinforced, flesh encased in armor to modify their organic bodies so they could transform into the robots' heads. The Headmasters were followed by the Target Masters, whose Nebulan partners transformed into guns, and the Power Masters, whose partners turned into engines that powered the robot systems with their own bioenergy. The idea of a Transformer and a Nebulan sharing a body was taken to its ultimate extreme in the finale of the comic, when Optimus Prime and his Power Master partner, High-Q, were mentally and physically fused into a single being. The concept of Transformers with organic components was explored further by 1988's Pretender toys, which posed the question: what if, in addition to vehicles and machines, the Transformers were able to disguise themselves as organic beings? Each Pretender came with a large hollow shell, sculpted to look like an organic creature, inside which the robot could be concealed, thus enabling the Transformers to masquerade as flesh and blood life forms, including humans, animals, and various monsters. As seen in the Marvel comic, these shells were biomechanical constructs made out of synthetic flesh, and each was mentally bonded to its owner, allowing the Transformer to feel everything the shell did, even when they weren't inside it. Japanese media would also offer its own unique takes on these technologies, featuring human headmasters who bonded with and took full control of Transformer bodies that had no life of their own, and pretenders who didn't literally wear shells like the toys did, but instead created their organic disguises by tapping into the life force of the Earth itself and using that supernatural power to actually convert their cells from metal to flesh. The premise of Transformers disguising themselves as organic creatures took its next logical evolutionary step in 1996's Beast Wars. Inspired by other biomechanically themed media like the Guyver series and the Terminator films, the robots of this toy line all converted directly into realistic organic animals. This new ability was explained to be the result of advancements in biogenetic engineering, which had allowed the Transformers to integrate organic matter into their bodies, leading to the Cybertronian race evolving from Autobots and Decepticons into Maximals and Predacons. As seen in the Beast Wars cartoon, These beast modes were essentially organic skins that surrounded the Transformers' bodies, concealing all their mechanical parts and allowing them to mimic real animals almost perfectly. The transformation was so complete that the wild instincts of their animal forms would even influence the robots' personalities. Their main limitation was that they couldn't change size, and thus their beast modes could wind up significantly out of scale with the real creatures. But in practice, this didn't matter very much, as the primary function of beast modes in the cartoon wasn't actually disguise, it was protection. In robot mode, the Maximals and Predacons were vulnerable to energon radiation, prolonged exposure to which would overload their bodies. The organic skins of their beast modes insulated their systems against its harmful effects. As Beast Wars continued, it experimented with different ways to blend the organic and the technological. In 1998, it introduced transmetals, who inverted the basic idea by converting from organic-looking robot modes into wholly metallic beasts. In 1999, there was the Transmetal 2 range, who were made up of a monstrous patchwork fusion of organic and mechanical components in both their robot and beast modes. And in the year 2000, there were mutants, Transformers who didn't have robot modes and instead converted from one beast mode to another. Beast Wars media would depict these assorted variations on the theme as mutations, caused by exposure to alien energy and genetic experiments conducted by Predacon leader Megatron. And then there was Beast Wars' 1999 sequel, Beast Machines, a bold experimental series that built its whole story around the melding of and the philosophical battle between organics and technology. It began when a small team of Maximals was reformatted into new forms by the Oracle supercomputer. Before, they had simply been machines wearing organic skins. But now, they became the perfect fusion of flesh and metal at the cellular level, inside and out in both modes. Not fully robots, not fully animals, but a new form of life that was both and neither at the same time, referred to as techno-organic. The series followed the Maximals as they set out to bring this new state of being to all of Cybertron, and in the process, further pushed the boundaries of what a Transformer could be, introducing Transformers that turned into plants, and even an entirely organic Transformer with no mechanical components at all, whose malleable flesh shape-shifted between two beast modes. And at the end of the series, Cybertron itself, together with all its people, was reformatted into a technorganic paradise, bringing an end to a story begun over a decade earlier with the introduction of the Headmasters. Beast Machines took the fusion of the organic and the technological as far as it could possibly go. But that doesn't mean that stories about the concept have stopped being told, as subsequent series have continued to feature everything from Headmasters to Pretenders to Beast Warriors, and explored the ideas in their own way. For instance, new examples of organics forming symbiotic bonds with Transformers have included the Headmaster partnership of Hunter O'Neill and the Autobot Sunstreaker from IDW Publishing's comics, and the grisly saga of Silas from Transformers Prime, a human who fused with and took control of the dead body of the Decepticon Breakdown. Multiple stories have created a direct in-universe link between Pretenders and Beast Warriors, depicting beast mode technology as having evolved out of Pretender tech, the organic disguises becoming part of the Transformers' bodies instead of worn like a shell. Beast mode tech itself has also evolved over the years. IDW's comics would pair beast modes with size-changing technology, which allowed robots to mimic living animals perfectly, while other stories have taken them to their logical extreme and featured Transformers with human alternate modes, most famously the Decepticon known as Alice in the live-action movie Revenge of the Fallen. Transformers Animated featured several Beast Machine-style technorganic characters, including Black Arachnia and Waspinator, Transformers unnaturally mutated into biomechanical hybrid forms, and Sari Sumdak, a unique fusion of flesh and metal created under mysterious circumstances when an unusual Transformer protoform scanned an Earthling and took the form of a human child. The series also featured Prometheus Black, an evil biochemist who aimed to create his own totally organic Transformer. Similar experiments were conducted by Scorponok in the IDW comic Lost Light, with the ultimate goal of breeding a race of organic Decepticons that could reproduce like humans. One series particularly notable for its transhuman themes was IDW's Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, which saw the peoples of Earth and Cybertron come together to build a society where the line between man and machine was so blurred that humans and Transformers could even crossbreed. Most recently, 2022's Transformers Earthspark introduced the Terrans, an entirely new breed of Transformers born not out of the metal of Cybertron, but the substance of Earth, described as organic energonic hybrid life forms. Their unique biology and its blend of earthly and Cybertronian qualities had a dark mirror in the villain of the series, Mandroid, a human scientist harvesting Transformer body parts and gradually grafting them to his own body. Now, to wrap up, any discussion of this subject has to mention Transformers' original 1980s rival franchise, GoBots. This toy line was also about two warring factions of transforming alien robots. But unlike the Autobots and Decepticons, the GoBots weren't pure machines. They had begun life as organic beings who had cybernetically upgraded their bodies over time until all that was left were organic brains contained within mechanical bodies. This isn't an idea the Transformers franchise has explored much, though it was featured in IDW's comics when the mad Cybertronian scientist Geaxis guided the people of the planet Gorlum Prime through a gradual biomechanical evolution from organics into tiny Transformer-like beings. However, planning documents for Beast Machines do show that, at one point, this was considered a possible direction for the series, proposing that it be revealed the Transformer race had evolved from human beings. The Transformers franchise has spent a long time bringing organics and technology closer and closer together, but I guess that one was considered a step too far. And those are the basics on Technorganics. If you've enjoyed this look at Transformers history and lore, as always, like, subscribe for more, and if you can, show your support by becoming a channel member or a Patreon. Doing either will get you early, ad-free access to every new episode.